We have a fourth line day. We are in gate 38, the gate of the fighter, and the fourth line is called investigation. When we get to the upper trigram, we have the advantage of knowing that our energy can actually be conditioned by awareness. This root gate is pointed towards the spleen. And the upper trigram, the transpersonal lines, they carry the recognition that it's there, that there is something at the other end of the channel, that it's an awareness, and it has the potential to guide us. The lines 4 to 6, what they're working with is a different kind of potential awareness in order to be able to fulfill their struggle. The 28th gate is the beginning of the intuitive process. The pressure of the 38 forces intuition, empowering the intuitive process. When you get to the fourth and fifth lines, you get to the inherently social lines of the hexagram. Although in individuality, nothing about the individual is inherently social. Remember the headline, the ability to preserve individual integrity through opposition to detrimental forces. And we know that the detrimental force is anyone who's trying to influence the individual. So when you look at these inherently sociable lines of the fourth and fifth, then bear in mind that that sociability is only going to come from the appropriate individual. It will have to come from another individual, in essence, from the 28th gate, because individuals do not influence each other. They empower each other or not, but they do not influence each other. They empower each other to live out their own individuality. And as long as they're empowering each other, then a trust can build between the two of them. This fourth line is called investigation. It's a nod to the resonance of the fourth line to the first line. It is called single-mindedness. Oh, it's not called, it's about, it's a single-minded focus of individuals. Don't listen to me, really. Sometimes I open my mouth and think, who said that? Anyway, so it's a line of single-mindedness because the fourth line is very fixed. It's the focus of the individual to struggle for what is value in life. The lifetime learning says analysis which strengthens opposition. So here in the upper trigram, the analysis is not about your struggle. The analysis is about the other. Which other, which awareness, who out there can make my struggle of value for me? What risk will fulfill my need to know that life is of value? The exaltation, the detective who develops or the insider who just accepts a joint opposition, whose success can only be based on trust. The energy to recognize who can be of value in times of struggle. Who can be of value? The 38 is a pressure, and the pressure needs to be released. Its natural pathway leads us up to the 28. When a 28 and a 38 have an electromagnetic connection to each other, in that moment, it is possible to align with each other. It is possible to trust and struggle together out of empowerment for each other. That who is a really important element here. Who is that person you can trust not to influence you, but to empower you? This is the key in this fourth line. The detriment, the aggressiveness in opposition that prejudices investigation and limits trustworthiness. The power of adrenaline to provoke aggressiveness. When you're dealing with externalizing struggle, what happens here in this is the capacity of recognizing the other, but the detriment is saying, I don't really like you. It doesn't really like the other. This is the kindness, meanness of the fourth line. It knows that the other may be of value to it, but it doesn't really like them. And so out of that comes this aggressiveness. The fourth line is not really an aggressive person. They're externalizing the capacity to struggle so it can look like they are, but they can be very sweet and nice in there somewhere. It just looks on the surface like they're Attila the Hun because they're here to externalize the pressure to struggle. And when they find the right kind of risk, they empower the being who brings that to them, and they struggle with each other. It's really tough for individuals to be dependent on anybody in any way for anything. It just is. That's the genetics. It's don't influence me. Don't care about me. Don't try to tell me what to do or look after me. Just allow me to be an example for you. And having said that they can be nice and sweet, then of course we have to look at the binary. We live in this duality. So we have to recognize that this fourth line can be some of the most aggressive individuals that we have in terms of maintaining their individual integrity. The slightest attempt to influence them will get the strongest possible reaction because that's what they're here for. Because of that, even another individual could bring out that aggressive reaction in the 38-4. We're complex beings. We could meet a 28. Yay! However, they are basically collective through the rest of their circuitry. But they have the 28 to your 38. That basic collective part, that's not going to empower you. It wants to share. It wants to make judgments. It wants to correct you. It's going to say, no, let us do it this way. Let us do it this way. Yeah, in that instant, the 38-4 is like, I don't think so. And so that potential for aggressiveness comes out there because it's like, no, we do it my way. So what you have here in this fourth line is a very fixed energy fixed on being able to establish if life is worthwhile or not. It's the genetic possibility to recognize who can empower you to fulfill that recognition. Because of the strength of this, there is also the possibility that nobody will have it. And this is the constant aggressive defense against being influenced by the outside. The grounding, coming from 39 in the fourth line, is called temperance. It's a jolly good thing that the 39 is also individual, because otherwise there'd be no chance of it bringing any kind of support or grounding or empowerment to the 38. Is it necessary for the 38-4 to have temperance? In terms of genetic continuity, it's going to be there, but you have to live out your design too. And if you're here to bring that aggressive nature through because the collective is trying to influence you, what to do? You've got to live out what is correct for you. So the moon has been in gate 19 since 0017 GMT, the tribal root gate of wanting and approach. It moves into gate 13 at 10:10. The abstract collective gate of the listener, the fellowship of man. This is G-center gate pointing upwards to the throat, to the gate of privacy and retreat, the 33, where experiences that have been reflected upon can be shared with the collective for use on their journey. The moon has a little flirtation with the solar plexus next as it moves into gate 49 at 2000. The gate of revolution and principles, a gate that is responsible for the distribution of the resources of the tribe. Thankless task, if ever there was one. And the final moon gate today is gate 30. It's another solar plexus gate. This is at 5:48 tomorrow morning. It is called the clinging fire, the gate of recognition of feelings, the gate with a hunger for desire. This is the gate of the fates. This is where we make our plans and the gods laugh. This is not a mellow gate. Ooh, no. The fire of desire can burn really strongly here. And we have the line of burnout in the fourth line of the 30th gate to prove it. Lovely. Okay, I will see you tomorrow for the fifth line, as always. You know what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it anyway, because I really like saying it. Yeah, love yourself and go gently. I'll see you tomorrow.